What is the impact of a single moment on life? And how do our choices reveal our character? Our project is showing evidence of how one single moment can change a person's whole life in either a positive or negative way. Every single decision you make affects your life in some way, whether you think it does or not. These actions and decisions impact and reveal one's character.
In the book 102 Minutes by Jim Dwyer, which is about the story of 9/11 and the horrendous events that occurred that day through the eyes of people who were in the buildings. One example in 102 Minutes is after the North Tower was hit and the South Tower was told not to evacuate. This is shown when a guard says, "All is well here. You can go back to your office. This building is secure." Dwyer, 64. The impact this single action had further risked the South Tower's chance of survival. This reveals that the guard didn't fully understand what was happening. Another example in 102 Minutes that impacted people's lives was when two friends named Zelmanowitz and Bea chose to stay together. Bea was in a wheelchair and couldn't move down the stairs during evacuation. Zelmanowitz then made the decision to stay with his best friend in his time of need. Even when asked if he wanted to leave, Zelmanowitz said, "No, I'm staying with my friend," Dwyer, 178. This action revealed his character by showing how loyal he was to Bea and how he put others before himself. A third example in the text is when another co-worker risked his life to save another. Stanley Premnath, while trying to escape the South Tower, became blocked by fallen rubble and was stuck. His co-worker Brian Clark heard Premnath screaming for help and decided to risk his own life for a stranger. Dwyer, 246. Brian Clark's actions revealed his character by showing how he viewed everyone's life as important.
In the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare, which is about the tragedy of a young war hero who lets his ambition get in the way of his conscience. One example in the play is when Macbeth comes across three witches who proclaim his fate by a prophecy. Macbeth is told, "All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis. All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor. All hail, Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter." Act 1, Scene 3, lines 48 through 50. Once learning that he will someday become king, Macbeth lets this single moment take over his entire way of looking at life. This reveals his character by showing how his ambition makes him so selfish that he sees his life as more important than others. This is also shown when Lady Macbeth gives Macbeth the idea to kill the current king, King Duncan, so that he can earn the title of king. When Lady Macbeth says, "Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round." Act 1, Scene 5, line 24 through 27. She is also letting her ambition get in the way of moral thoughts. This reveals her character by showing how Lady Macbeth puts her needs before anyone else's. Later on in the play, after Macbeth murdered King Duncan, his best friend, Banquo starts to suspect that Macbeth was the one who murdered him. As Banquo thinks to himself, "Thou hast it now, King Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird woman promised, and I fear thou playest most fully for it." Act 3, Scene 1, lines 1 through 3. This single thought led to his death when Macbeth starts to fear Banquo. This reveals Macbeth's character when he kills his best friend due to fear as a sign of weakness.
In the poem To a Mouse, written by Robert Burns, a man is plowing his field and runs into a mouse's nest and destroys it. After saying, "I'm truly sorry, man's dominion has broken nature's social union," and justifies that bad opinion which makes you startle, "when I'm your poor, earth-born companion and fellow mortal." Robert Burns. The man realizes that mice have every right to be scared of humans due to all the dangers that humans put on mice. This reveals the man's character by showing how he realizes that he was wrong in ruining the mouse's house and that the mouse's life is just as important as his. But after realizing this, the man plows over the rebuilt nest another time and says, "But mouse friend, you are not alone in proving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes of mice and men go oft awry and leave us only grief and pain for promised joy." Robert Burns. This action can be interpreted to mean that the man is showing the mouse that life doesn't always work out the way you planned, and different decisions and actions can impact one's life. This further reveals the man's character by showing how he truly cares for the mouse and wants him to live, knowing that plans don't always work out the way you hope.
On February 14, 2018, Nicholas Cruz opened fire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, killing a total of 14 students and 3 teachers. This was one of the 10 most deadly mass shootings in modern-day U.S. history. It all started when Cruz pulled the fire alarm, trying to force the 3,000 people out of their classrooms to be easier targets. When no one left their classroom after the fire alarm was pulled, Cruz began shooting into 4 different classrooms using an automatic .223 caliber AR-15 style rifle, which has a capacity of 30 rounds and is very easy to obtain. Cruz's actions impacted the students of the high school's life as well as students around the world. This reveals his character as selfish and heartless when it comes to others' lives.